Apple just confirmed the event. And there is one thing on the invite that every analyst is reading wrong. This is the iPhone 18 Pro lineup. And one of the three phones Apple is about to announce starts at $2,000. Not because it's the best iPhone, because it's a completely different category of device. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which one is actually built for you and which one Apple is hoping you'll buy without thinking. There's also something happening on September 1st that nobody in tech is talking about enough. We'll get there. Apple sent out invites on August 26th, September 9th, Steve Jobs Theater, 10 a.m. Pacific, 3 iPhones, iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and Apple's first foldable device, widely expected to be called the iPhone Ultra. I've been going through every confirmed detail, every credible leak, and every rumor with a track record worth trusting. And the picture that's forming is more interesting than most people realize, because this isn't just a spec upgrade year. This is a restructuring of what an iPhone even is. Here's the thing nobody's leading with. On September 1st, 8 days before the event, Apple gets a new CEO. John Ternus takes over from Tim Cook. Cook moves to executive chairman, and Ternus walks onto that stage on September 9th, not as a product VP, not as the guy who oversees hardware engineering, but as the CEO of Apple. His first keynote, his first iPhone launch. That's not a footnote. That is the story of this event. Whether Ternus opens differently, speaks differently, signals something different about where Apple is going, and that's worth paying attention to, because product launches and leadership transitions don't usually happen at the exact same time. Apple is doing both simultaneously on one of the most consequential iPhone lineups in years, okay? So the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max. Let's be precise about what's confirmed versus what's rumored, because there's a lot of noise right now. The A20 Pro chip, almost certain. Apple's C2 modem, their in-house cellular chip replacing Qualcomm, highly credible. A variable aperture main camera backed by multiple sources, and the invite itself may be hinting at exactly this. On the invite image, Mark Gurman pointed out that the shining light in the graphic could directly reference a mechanical aperture lens, the kind that physically opens and closes to control how much light hits the sensor. That would be a first for iPhone, and a first that actually matters, not just as a spec, but as a genuine improvement in how photos look in both bright and dark conditions simultaneously. The colors are reportedly dark cherry, black, silver, and light blue. And for context, the invite is glowing blue. That is not subtle, Apple. The dynamic island launched on the iPhone 14 Pro. That was 2022. It has not changed size since. Until now, a leaked screen protector shows a noticeably smaller cutout on the iPhone 18 Pro, and the numbers back it up. Currently, the dynamic island is about 20 millimeters wide. The iPhone 18 Pro version is expected to drop to approximately 13.5 millimeters. That's a 25 to 35% reduction. How Apple is reportedly moving the flood illuminator, one of the Face ID components, underneath the display. It's not a hole punch design. It's still pill-shaped, but it's meaningfully smaller. And it's the first real step toward what everyone knows Apple wants eventually, a completely full-screen iPhone with no cutout at all. We won't get there this year, but this is the year it actually starts moving. And here's the one you've actually been waiting for, the iPhone Ultra, Apple's first foldable iPhone. Here's what the credible reports are saying. Book-style design like the Galaxy Z Fold, not the Razr. Outer display somewhere between 5.3 and 5.5 inches. Inner display 7.6 to 7.8 inches when unfolded. Titanium frame, ultra-thin profile, and reportedly a virtually crease-free display. That last one is the claim that's hardest to verify until people actually hold it. Every foldable promises minimal crease. Apple saying it means one of two things. They've genuinely solved it, or they're defining crease-free very generously. Now, Here's the number I mentioned at the top. Starting price approximately $1,999. Some configurations reportedly reaching $2,500. That is not a typo, $2,000 for a phone. And there's a trade off buried in the specs that I think is genuinely underreported. The iPhone Ultra is expected to ship with 2 rear cameras, not 3, while the iPhone 18 Pro Max, which costs roughly half as much, gets the full 3 camera system, including the upgraded variable aperture main lens. So if you're a photographer or someone who actually uses that telephoto lens, the cheaper phone might be the better camera phone, which is wild to say out loud. There's also a Face ID change. The Ultra is expected to use Touch ID integrated into the power button rather than the TrueDepth Face ID system. Presumably because fitting all those Face ID sensors into a foldable form factor is still an engineering challenge Apple hasn't fully solved. So you're paying more, getting a folding screen, losing a camera, and losing Face ID. That's the trade. Only you can decide if it's worth it. Here's where I land. If you're upgrading from an iPhone 15 or 16 and you want the best iPhone Apple makes in the most traditional sense, iPhone 18 Pro Max, bigger battery, 3 cameras, including the new variable aperture, smaller dynamic island, C2 modem, all of it. In a design your hands already know. If you want to be the first person in your city holding a foldable iPhone and you have $2,000 and you don't care about the camera trade-off, iPhone Ultra, honestly, respect. That's a real choice and there's nothing wrong with it. But go in knowing what you're trading, and the standard iPhone 18 not coming this fall. Apple pushed it to spring 2027 along with the iPhone 18e and iPhone Air 2. So if you were waiting for the affordable option, you're waiting a little longer. September 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific. John Ternus takes the stage for the first time as Apple's CEO, and I'll be watching every second of it, not just for the products, but for what this signals about the next decade of Apple. I'm curious, which one are you actually buying, the Pro Max, the Ultra, or are you skipping this year entirely and waiting for spring? Tell me below, because based on what I'm seeing in the comments lately, this is a more divided room than people think.